New Zealand is one of the furthest countries from our oil supply. Once the tankers stop coming, we'll be plunged into a new dark age. Our economy will look like a plane at 11,000 feet with its wings suddenly ripped off. I was speaking to the Cuban ambassador a few months ago and I asked him about Cuba when they had their problems back in 91, 95, sort of 93-ish, with the collapse of the Soviet Union and the embargo as the America put on them. And his English isn't brilliant, but his body language did it for me. He said, the Cuban economy went from here to here overnight. So that's what we face when our oil stops coming. The government haven't got a clue. They're meant to have 90 days supply in stock, but if we're lucky, they've got 30 days supply, and some of that I think is classed as in Australia on boats coming here. For the past 10,000 years, we've been able to move or take new land as our population grew or the soil became used. And over the past 200 years or so, we've been able to go up the fossil fuel ladder from coal to oil to natural gas. Also, the population has gone up from about 800 million to 6,700 million. We're currently growing at 80 million a year, the population of Germany, so the story goes. We saw the Green Revolution, which should have been called the Black Revolution, as all it did was turn oil and natural gas into food. To the point where we are today, where over 90% of our food supply is heavily dependent on oil and natural gas. And if you think you can live on 200 calories a day, then I guess it's not a problem. Robert Hirsch, he was commissioned by the Bush government to do a report on how long before peak should we start to be ready. And him and his team thought, no problems, we've got fossil, we've got biodiesel, we've got alternatives, we've got battery driven this, that, and everything else, so it shouldn't be an issue. We'll look into it and see what it comes out to. And the guy turned into a peak oilist overnight. He came up with, at a 3% decline, we need 15 years to prepare for the event. Well, if the event happened 2 years ago, and 17 years behind, we'd be ready already. The government, like I said, the government hasn't got a clue. I hold them in contempt and look at them as criminals, especially as I've been at them for nearly 8 years. There's a DVD in the hallway, some of you have already grabbed it. That's the recent one I dropped off to them in March this month, last month. I took 122 of them in there. There's various replies here. One in particular, which was really amazing, from Doug Wellington, New Zealand First. This leader wasn't such an idiot, I should vote for him. Dear Robert, thank you for the DVD on peak oil. My executive assistant was kind enough to watch the full and brief me on its contents. Incidentally, she is now suffering from depression as a result. We're not in good shape worldwide, are we, in regard to that? So, yeah, because we're so unprepared for what is about to happen, we will see a lot of suffering. And because I've been given 10 minutes here, that's another example. There should be a Minister of the Crown here. We should have Minister David, what's his name here? No one knows him because Hardy doesn't even. As Thomas Hardy quoted, if the path to the better there be, it begins with a full look at the worst. So we need to look at the worst. And talking about a population of 11 billion or whatever, 9 billion by 2050, it's just not going to happen. We're lucky if there's 100 million left on the planet. And it's not as if the Green Party, or any group for that matter, have been running secret boot camps in the Uraweras for organic permaculturalists, sort of gardens in the mist. Forks, spades and buckets of compost. Simply there is nothing being done. We are heading off the cliff at 100 miles per hour. Every member of Parliament ignoring the problem, and we are on our own. Peak oil is a past event, so we can chuck away Plan A, which was commercialism, Kiwi saver, growth, more population, more children. That's gone. We have to look for Plan B, which Plan B at the moment kind of looks like that. How's the time going? Okay. What to do? Some of my suggestions maybe get as healthy as you can, get off any drugs you might be on. Prozac is going to be a real problem for the community. 100,000 on that. That stuff is 3 months after someone takes it, they're in massive problems. And bottom line might be removing the arms. I suggest you get a gun and get 2 guns. Get a license and get 2 guns. Carry one because of martial law, they like to disarm the population, just keep a gun hidden and stashed away. Don't break the law, get a gun license. I truly think getting serialised is a good idea. I have had a vasectomy 8 years ago. I really think a baby is a luxury in the future and a massive drain on your own survival. If we have a hope in hell, we have to learn how to grow food and form close communities, get a water supply sorted out as the grid will go down and the CBD become a dry ghost town. And I would think most of the hill suburbs as well. The sewage system will not work. Local and central government will not even be able to maintain law and order, let alone feed us all. So knowing your immediate neighbours is important. At the current stage, I suggest you get 3 months ahead in your mortgage at least and all your debts, because when the banks go bankrupt, you might be left high and dry just a little bit. I think it's a good idea if you're stuck in mortgage and everything. Even if you have to borrow to do so, just get that money in there and stay away. Property ownership in New Zealand, that's going to be a big fake joke too. I mean, how can someone own hundreds of thousands of dollars mortgage, kick someone out of the house? If you've got tenants, you're stuck with them, because there's not going to be a law and order, and the neighbours will rally and not let you kick them out. So get out of your property now and cut the losses.
Steered right, mate.
If you go to university, concentrate on what you can do for your tribe, your local community. Don't think about electrical jobs and computers and things like that. You need to think about hands-on, manual labour, manual jobs, gardening. In Cuba, some of the richest people are farmers now. Really, that's about it, really, I think. There's DVDs in the auditorium there that you're welcome to take. Any donations would be appreciated. I've given away over 12,000 of them now. There's been about 650 delivered to Parliament over the last 4 years. And the Maori Party have called for 3 moratoriums, or 3 times they've called for a moratorium or to discuss pet oil within the Parliament, and they've been ignored every time. So really, there's not much hope at the moment. We can't do much about it. We've just got to look after ourselves and focus on learning to grow food and get to know neighbours. Thank you.
Stop, brother.